What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon. Co-hosting with me today is...
Your boy, Jake Mother effing Bulls on the mic, 1-2. Sorry about my voice, guys. I'm dealing with a little bit of a cold or flu, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I don't really know the difference. All I know is I feel like shit.
Yeah. Guys, today we're actually recording on a Tuesday, which is a little bit better than Monday because... I don't know. We're giving Jake a little bit more time to go through the grieving process as well. If we would have recorded earlier, Jake probably would have sounded even worse. But yeah, Jake's battling this one out with the cold, flu, whatever the hell he's got, just to give you guys good content. But guys, today we're just going to be recapping the conference championships game. Oh my God, conference championship games from the AFC and NFC. So we got two games. We're just gonna shoot the shit a little bit. You know, we're not really gonna go too much in depth in this one. I mean, maybe we will, but there's some key takeaways, but there's a lot of things that I kind of want to just address or bring up because there's a lot of allegations out there, especially dealing with the refs, and I think rightfully so. But yeah, guys, if you aren't already, give us a follow on our Instagram at cannonballs_podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. It's been a little bit since we've done this. Jake, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to remind everyone, inform everyone, since it's the Super Bowl's next, this is going to be our only episode of the week. We really don't have any other reason to record multiple episodes this week. So I hope you listen to this episode and enjoy it. Let's just get right into it, man. 49ers traveled to Philadelphia and they got their asses beat. There's not much to take away from this besides very, very unlucky. I think this is one of the most unluckiest games I've seen in a long time. I mean, the first quarter was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it didn't make sense what was going on. I think Brock Purdy threw 3 times. And then he, it's kind of good that we're recording this a couple days later because we find out that he completely ruptured his UCL tendon.
Yeah.
I don't, and for those who don't know, I guess this is the tendon that baseball pitchers hurt when they have to get Tommy John surgery. So if he does have to get Tommy John surgery, he could be out an extended period of time. And,
it would most likely be over a year because I know that most pitchers, when they get Tommy John surgery, they usually take a year off to do the full recovery and physical therapy process.
Yeah. So, Brock Purdy could just potentially miss a year. If he doesn't get the surgery, they say he'll take about 6 months to recover. So he still hasn't decided what he's going to do. But, I mean, as a 49er fan, and I'm sure anybody watching this game, as soon as he got hurt, it was just like all the magic from the 12-game win streak just evaporated. There was no – it was just like I was watching this, and I was watching it with my wife, and I just looked at her, and I was like, this isn't even fun to watch. Like, we still had a shot, I guess. It was 7-0. The defense was still playing actually really good besides a bullshit 4th and 3 or whatever, and they gave it to them. Devontae Smith. It looked like a good catch, but replay shows that he didn't come down with it. So good for the Eagles, taking advantage of, the fast play or whatever on the next play. But it shouldn't have been a catch. They still got a touchdown the next play or whatever. And then I think the 49ers defense did a really good job of containing Jalen Hurts, at least for the first half, maybe the first 3 quarters. And then, the last quarter, it was just, what the hell? It's bullshit. Frustrations.
I would say after the first 3 quarters, you could tell that the team kind of just knew what was going to happen. Like, they kind of just gave up, and like they were frustrated because if you went on a 12-game win streak, you had this Cinderella story with Brock Purdy brewing. You know, you could take them to the Super Bowl, Mr. Irrelevant. He goes out, your second string quarterback goes out, and then you have literally no quarterback. You're running some wildcat, you're running plays with Christian McCaffrey. You just got random play, and it became just a running attack. And, you know, at that point, you knew you weren't going to score, unfortunately, as no matter how good the rushing attack is, if that's the only thing you can do, the defense is just going to be prepared for that. So it kind of screwed them over. And so then you saw it in the fourth quarter. They kind of just, they knew it was inevitable. They knew what was going to happen. And so they just took their frustration out. Like, I would be pissed too. And George Kittle, in his post press game conference, he basically said, how does it feel to lose knowing that both of our quarterbacks were out? Fucking sucks. Like, it sucks to lose regardless, but losing because you don't have a quarterback, it sucks. I'd be pissed too. So, you know, they definitely let their frustration get the better of them. So I'm not going to lie, though. Best play of the game, Trent Williams destroying what's his face from the Philadelphia Eagles. Absolutely demolished him.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that was just, you know, the turning point. He got ejected from the game. Damn, dude. It was just such a weird, unfortunate circumstances that happened. And in my heart of hearts, I truly believe, I'm not going to say the 49ers would have won this game, but I know for a fact they would have put up a better fight than a 31-7 performance. And
without a doubt, I mean, I think this game would have been neck and neck. I think it would have been scoring back and forth, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the defense, like, if you guys don't believe me, look at the defense for the first half, for sure. For sure, the first half. They were playing phenomenally. Besides a couple good passes, you know, I love their game plan of not rushing Jalen Hurts, keeping him in that pocket and forcing him to throw. And, you know, it actually showed that he's not, you know, he still has a little bit of work to do with the passing game. I mean, I like Jalen Hurts actually a lot. Like, I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan ever since he got benched. So it's kind of
the underdog story.
Yeah, I like Jalen Hurts, but, you know, I love what the defense was doing to, you know, limit his capabilities on the field. It just wasn't enough. You know, they needed to be full strength, and they just weren't, man. And, you know, maybe they could have done some more jet sweep RPO passes or something, but I mean, there's only so much you can do against a good team. Like, this was a good team from the beginning of the year. This was a great team who just benefited from an easy schedule, an easy playoff schedule, and they rode it all the way to the championship. And you know what? Sometimes that's just how it happens. Like, you are dealt the cards you are dealt, and you either, you know, take those cards all the way to the bank, or, you know, you get eliminated in the playoffs, or you get eliminated in the regular season. So, you know, congratulations to the Eagles. I'm not taking anything away from the Eagles. They are a phenomenal team. It's just very unfortunate that the 49ers couldn't put up a better fight.
Yeah, I mean, this game literally just came down to the injury of Brock Purdy in the quarterback position. I mean, you have your third string quarterback in, he goes down. You have your fourth string quarterback goes out with a concussion. You lose all four quarterbacks that the team has, and all of them are like significant injuries, except what's his name? Johnson? Was that his last name?
Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson. Yeah. So, like, tear for all three of the starting quarterbacks. Jimmy and Brock Purdy. They all tore something this year. All significant injuries, which is unfortunate. I think Trey Lance has the quickest time to come back.
Well, I think Jimmy's as shit. Like, they were saying that if they made it past the Eagles, that Jimmy would have a chance to suit up for the Super Bowl. So I think Jimmy will be fine. But the thing is, you know, we can, now that the season is over for the 49ers, I mean, we can talk about the quarterback situation. You know, right when you think the 49ers figure out their quarterback situation, everything's up in the air again. You know, if I had to put money on it, I would say, damn, I feel like they might re-sign Jimmy at this point. Why not? if he's willing to take another pay cut and stick with the team, why not? Do the same thing you did last year. Throw Trey Lance, because Trey Lance has 4 more weeks till he can start, and he'll be ready for OTAs in the offseason. So you know what?
Let me ask you this really quick. If you keep Jimmy, do you trade Trey Lance?
There's no reason to trade Trey Lance.
What if you could get draft capital? What if you could get a couple first rounds?
If you could get multiple first rounders, then fuck yeah, you trade Trey Lance. But there's not a goddamn team in the NFL who's going to do that. I mean, if you can name the team that is willing to give the 49ers multiple first round picks for Trey Lance, you tell me, because I do not believe
Colts.
I don't. I mean, why? But the thing is like, why would you trade multiple first rounders and multiple picks when they already have a top 5 draft pick and they can get, Will Levis or is that his name? Will Levis, Levi's, Will Levis, or CJ Stroud or something. I just do not see that happening. I think it's just smarter for them to
hold on to them
with Trey. It's smarter. Roll with Trey. He's still on the team for another 2 years, and
I mean, you do have him on the rookie deal, which is big.
Yeah. So, and even if he doesn't pan out to be exactly what you think he is, you don't have to pay him a giant contract because he hasn't panned out yet. So he hasn't proved anything. So I don't think it's smart for them to just move on or whatever.
Okay, say hypothetically, all 3 quarterbacks are healthy for OTAs. They go through training camp. They all have a great training camp. Who's the starter week 1, in your opinion? Do you still give it to Brock?
Well,
or do you try and let Trey prove himself? Because you spent first round. You moved up to get Trey Lance.
Yeah. I mean, if everyone's healthy, then I think you got to go Trey Lance, because, I mean, I still truly believe that Trey Lance has a higher upside than Brock Purdy. If he can do what Brock Purdy does and then move on, I mean, this is what Trey Lance, Jalen Hurts is what Trey Lance is supposed to be. But the Eagles are what the 49ers are supposed to be. Like, that offense should have been the 49ers offense with Trey Lance. He has the same ability, the same giant arm. He's big like Jalen Hurts. They have the great run game. They have the great defense. It's identical to the Eagles. It's just, maybe it's his abilities to read the defense quickly. I think that's where Brock Purdy excels. I think Brock Purdy is probably a little bit more accurate. But I think
Hurts
Trey Lance is
on his legs too, though.
No, I'm not saying Brock Purdy's not is a chump or anything. He was pretty good. Like, he's really
not
good.
Like Jalen Hurts moving around in the pocket.
Yeah. I mean, like, would you rather have Jalen Hurts or Brock Purdy?
Jalen.
You're gonna take the athletic quarterback who can throw also. Like, so I mean, at this point, I don't care. Whoever is healthy, whoever is going to win the games, whoever is going to take the 49ers to a championship is who I take. I don't buy into, I deserve the starting role. Nah, motherfucker, you don't deserve shit. You deserve to earn it. Exactly. So, yeah, it's just an interesting, it's going to be an interesting offseason once again for the 49ers. Gonna have to get Bosa a contract, gonna have to get a bunch of free agents on contract, probably a bunch of, players that have been on the team for a while are going to be gone. DC, D'Amico Ryans, congratulations. You got
Houston Texans.
Yep. Houston Texans got a head coaching job. And, so it's going to be a very interesting offseason for the 49ers.
Do you think they have the ability to repeat what they did the last 2 years? Go back to the NFC Championship? Yeah.
I do.
Who's going to take the starting DC position? Someone in-house, or are they going to hire a new coordinator?
There's a couple people. So, I was thinking about this. The 49ers are turning into what the Rams were a couple years ago, where they're just becoming a mecca of head coaching talent. This is the third year in a row where a head coach has been hired from the 49ers organization. You had Robert Saleh, Josh McDaniel, or Mike McDaniel, sorry, and now D'Amico Ryans. That's something you want to see, even though it sucks to see your coaches leave. It's awesome to see that
they have
the culture. Yeah, the success and the culture of the 49ers just completely changed, and it's just been a funnel for head coaching and talent. But as far as the DC, I think I've heard they're talking to Vic Fangio, who is a former 49ers.
Insane.
Yeah, and he's a great defensive coordinator.
Not the best head coach, but
yeah, great defensive coordinator.
Great DC.
Yeah, so I mean, when the 49ers went to the Super Bowl with Harbaugh, he was the defensive coordinator. So, I wouldn't mind that one. But I also, there's talks about, what's his name? Steve Wilkes from the Panthers. So that would be a good hiring. But I'm also a fan of hiring in-house. They're talking to the defensive backs coach. So, the defensive backs balled out this year, I think. At least the safeties did. So that'd be cool. I always aim for, or I always like when they go in-house, just because I think it's better for the culture, the organization. And, I think, if he moves on to be another head coach, they get more picks. Like, people want to talk shit about the 49ers and say they don't have any picks. Guess how many picks they have in this next year's draft?
10.
11.
Damn.
They have 11 picks because of all the coaches that they have funneled out into the league. So, it sucks losing your coaches, but it's awesome because Did you
get any first rounders for D'Amico Ryans?
No first rounders, but they got a third round in 2025.
Okay, so it's like a compensatory pick or whatever they're called.
Yeah. So it's gonna be an interesting offseason for sure, but yeah.
All right. Well, sorry that we went on a tangent, ladies and gentlemen. We had to figure out a way to build some time into this episode. But, Jake, let's get on to the other game. I have a lot of question marks with this game. So we had the Cincinnati Bengals. By the way, Jake and I went 0-2 in conference championship weekend. We picked both incorrect teams. We went with the Bengals over the Chiefs, Burrowhead, as some of the players in Cincinnati call it. I like that. I like the cockiness. I like the confidence. It's pretty badass.
I will say this. In our little money league thing, I actually went Chiefs, and I got that one right. So, but as far as the podcast, yeah, I did pick the Bengals. And golly gee, man, what a game. What a game. Dude, almost identical to last year's conference championship, except it went the other way around. I'll let you take the reins on this one.
So I don't have too much to take away other than this was just a dogfight. Like, this was just two great offenses and the defenses making big plays when they needed to. The thing that Patrick Mahomes did this without his top three wide receivers going down. Travis Kelce hobbled. He's injured. So, that was impressive. But the thing that I have the biggest concern with is people are starting to call this game rigged. And not only that, addressing it to the entirety of the NFL, saying that the NFL is rigged. And this game was just so noticeable with that one ref coming out on the third down and then restarting the play.
Mm-hmm.
There were definitely, and then a bad PI call. There were some really questionable calls. And I don't think that it's rigged. I just think the refs suck. I think that because they're not full-time employees, they can be swayed. Maybe it is rigged to a certain extent. Maybe they get paid more by another team. Hey, if you favor us, we'll pay you this amount. I don't fucking know. But I just thought the refs for these two games was terrible. I thought they were bad. And not only that, the most flag-happy ref crew is doing the Super Bowl. Can't wait for that. That'll be fun.
Great.
But some of the calls in this game were just absolutely pathetic. I really do think that the Bengals got screwed out of this one a little bit. I still think the Chiefs did enough to win. They played really good defense, but there were some tic-tac BS penalties in this game that I don't agree with. And it's not even that I'm a Bengals fan. I'm a diehard Chargers fan. I don't know, man. This game kind of just frustrated me because it could have been even better. It was still a great game. Don't get me wrong. It was a dogfight. I loved it. But some of these calls were just absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, what happens when we find out that the NFL is rigged? Do you still watch it? Say we find out, like, what does that mean for us as fans? Like, are we just watching wrestling at this point?
I think if we found out that the NFL is rigged, you would have to stop watching it until they changed it. Because, like, you would.
But then it's like, how would you know if they ever changed it? I mean, we could go on and on about the conspiracy theories. I mean,
I don't think that it's rigged to the point that people are saying it is. I think that they can have favorable calls, but to say that, because, like, you have to have a lot of people involved to rig an entire organization, a couple $1 billion worth of an organization. Yeah. You have to have a lot of people, and you're giving credit to the intellect of all these individuals, saying that all these refs are that intellectual. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm sure some of them are, but I don't think all of them have the capacity to be like, all right, I'm going to call it this exact play. This is how it's going to happen. You have to be hit this way. I don't think it's like that.
Yeah. I mean, you're dealing with 32 billionaires and besides maybe like Dan Snyder, want all their teams to win a championship. So I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to believe that it could be rigged. I think maybe. Sorry about that. I think maybe. I don't even want to say anything. I don't, because I personally just don't want it to believe that it is rigged. I think it's just very shitty.
I think it's
officiating.
Yeah, I think the officiating's terrible. Plus, also, if you think about it, if they were to rig it, why would they rig it so the same teams keep going back and winning?
Yeah.
That wouldn't make sense to me because, like, yeah, you want to watch a dynasty or, like, a great team, but it's like you would think that if it's rigged, you would want other teams to make it because then it's the Cinderella story, like the, 2011 New York Giants or whatever year it was that they beat the undefeated New England Patriots and prevented them from repeating the Miami Dolphin, only team to go flawless and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's we sports fans will probably debate over and over again. I personally don't believe it's rigged, but I agree with you. In this game, there are some very questionable calls. Leading up to, it was a good call, but it was just a shame that they had to call it that 15-yarder at the very end with I don't even know his name, Osai or whatever, Osai. Yeah. Joseph Osai or whatever his name is.
Yeah, that one I think was the correct call. Mm-hmm. That was just, boneheaded to the max. I never want to say that a game is determined by one play, but that definitely helped. Definitely helped. I mean, because I don't think the Chiefs would have been in field goal range at that point. And then they just tacked on another 15, and I think it was still a 45-yard field goal, so they would have been at like 60.
Yeah.
I mean, they possibly could have made it, but that's a tough field goal to make.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a tough way to go out. Damn, dude. Yeah, tough way to go out.
I will say, though, that the Chiefs are lucky that they have another week to get healthy because they were missing some key players in this game. So that's definitely going to help. This should be an interesting Super Bowl. I really hope the officiating doesn't get in the way of this one, though, which I kind of have a feeling it's going to because I can't remember the name of the crew, but the crew is literally, statistically speaking, the highest percentage of thrown flags in the NFL.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember who's the lead ref.
I'm gonna look it up.
It's just bad, man. Like when flags determine the outcome, not determined, but like
Carl Schaefer's.
Is that him?
Is that it?
I think I'd have to look it up.
Excuse me.
I'll look it up.
Referee Carl Schaefer's, umpire. Or no, is that it? Man. Yeah, I mean, what can we do like to fix the? I mean, we've talked about this constantly. I mean, every sports fan talks about trying to fix officiating. Like, what would you do if you were in charge of the NFL and you know, fans just had it? What would you say, or what would your be solution to fixing this?
The officiating?
Yeah.
Well, I heard Pat McAfee talk about it a little bit on his podcast. If you guys don't listen to the Pat McAfee show, it's a great show, great humor, great punter in NFL history, just a great guy overall. He basically talked about, he thinks that one of the ways they could fix it is instead of having part-time employees do the officiating, get full-time officials, make it their actual career instead of just a part-time thing, because maybe they'll give a shit more and maybe not call as many flags, or like be more detail oriented when it comes to when to actually throw the flag. Because I mean, there's probably a flag that you could throw on every play. Let's be real. There is holding on every single play.
Yep.
It's the NFL, but it's like the problem that I have is they pick and choose on big moments. It seems like turning points and be like, nope, not going to happen. You just scored a touchdown here. Let's throw a holding penalty on this exact play. Unless it's blatantly obvious, fucking keep the flag to yourself. Like, Come on. There is holding on every play. Unless the guy is arm tackling him to the ground. What the hell, man? Like, Jesus Christ.
Dude, my biggest...
Go ahead.
All right, I'll let you finish because I was kind of going to change the subject a little bit.
All right. The last thing I'll say is, like, even with PI, like, there is hand fighting on almost every single route. A jersey is going to get tugged a teeny bit on almost every single play. I don't give a fuck what you think. Unless he is, like, pulling, like, hard, you're going to see some kind of tug. Like, cornerbacks are literally coached to be hands-on, run stride and stride with the route runner. I don't know, man. Like, some of them is just poor play call or poor coaching, but some of it's a lot of just bad ref call.
I actually just figured out the solution for bad officiating.
Get rid of them. Just let them go street fight.
Street ball. No, no. This is legit. I think this is a good idea. You ready for this?
Let's
might
hear
be
it.
mind blowing. Change the rules so they don't favor the offense so much.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is they should get rid of this BS passing or personal foul against the quarterback. Like, roughing the passer has gotten too pussy. Excuse my language. Pusillanimous. There we go.
I mean, I don't know. It's like, use your best judgment. Like, if this 350-pound D lineman is slamming a quarterback to the ground,
Right.
throw the flag. But like, if he just tackles him like it's a routine tackle, not anything excessive, then don't throw the flag. But like, as far as the DBs and wide receivers, the offensive penalties, like, the rules are set up to where they just favor the offense because
absolutely.
people like offense. And I think if we change the rules up a little bit where you can have a little bit of tugging, maybe if not like excessive ripping to the ground. I mean, it's the same thing with basketball. I mean, I was watching the Lakers and Knicks play, and just some of the plays, like the rules favor the offense. Like, and like there was just some fouls that were called, and I'm just like, how the fuck is that a foul? Like, this dude barely touched him. Like, what? So like, you mean to tell me the offensive player can initiate contact, but just because he's a defensive player, that you're going to call the penalty on him? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's the same thing with the NFL. The defense. What do you want the defender to do? Just get blown by every play? Like, do you understand how hard? And I think it's these people who make these rules are never played football in their entire life, and and they don't understand how hard it is to cover somebody who can run fucking 4.2. I don't know how to fucking cover people, but I know for a fact it's hard as shit. Like, and you expect me not to bump and, tug a little bit? Like, come on, man.
You got to throw off your route somehow.
Yeah, like, it's just...
You're running blind also. They know the route concept. You don't.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, we got to get something. I think some. I actually like the idea of full time employees. That way, like in the off season, they can train, maybe watch tape.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what refs do in the off season.
Let them go to the Shrine Bowl. Let them go to the Senior Bowl. Let them officiate that. Get some practice. I don't know, man. But they definitely got to fix this officiating because there's some bad play call. Not going, I digress. I'm coming back a little bit to the Chiefs-Bengals game. Still a good game. I enjoyed it. Regardless of the outcome, I wanted the Bengals to win, obviously, because I hate the Kansas City Chiefs. But it was a good win. It was a good game. It was still enjoyable. Chiefs, they're a great freaking team. They went 14-3 for a reason. They made it to the Super Bowl yet again. They made it to 5 AFC Championship games. We'll see what happens against the Eagles. I think this will be another good game. I just hope it's not deterred or doesn't deter people because of the officiating. That's my biggest concern. But hell of a game. I really like watching Isaiah Pacheco. I'll say that he's one hell of a ball player. And the rookies for the Kansas City defense, they came to ball. They came to play.
Yep. How you feeling about this Super Bowl? Like, is it like, to me, like, I really don't give a fuck about this Super Bowl. Like, it's not like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe I'm just salty because the 49ers lost, but like usually I'm like pretty hyped for the Super Bowl. Like even last year, even though the Rams were in the Super Bowl, I was like, ooh, the Rams and the Bengals? Hell yeah, that's a freaking good matchup. Like this Super Bowl, I'm like, all right, the Chiefs been there like 3 times already. They're like the new Patriots. The Eagles, they've won one in 2017. And I'm also salty because they just beat the 49ers. I don't know. Like, I really don't know how to feel about this Super Bowl matchup.
I think it is kind of interesting, though. Like, I don't know if I'm particularly, like, all hyped about this Super Bowl either for whatever the reason. Maybe it's just because I'm drained from work. But it is kind of interesting that it is both number 1 seeds playing each other. I think that's the first time in a while. Happened? Yeah, I think it's the first time in a while that's happened because usually the number 1 seeds get knocked out for some reason, especially after having a bye week, but both of them made it to the Super Bowl this year. So it is technically best versus best. I think that's one thing to get excited about. I think one of the reasons why maybe I'm not as excited is because of injuries and just like how the championship games were kind of
determined.
By play calling. So it kind of makes me think like, are we just going to see bad officiating in the Super Bowl? Like, are we just going to see a hobbled Kansas City Chiefs team? Like, are they going to be able to get healthy within 2 weeks? And then the Eagles just have another cakewalk because they're playing a beat up Kansas City Chiefs team, even though the Chiefs beat the Bengals. So maybe it won't be a cakewalk. I don't know, man. It's going to be hard. So I just have a lot of questions, I feel like, with this Super Bowl.
Yeah. There's definitely some storylines in it. The Andy Reid Bowl, coached for the Eagles and now coached for the Chiefs, which is pretty freaking cool, actually.
Yeah. I mean, Andy Reid is one of the best head coaches to ever coach. Say that right now.
Yeah. It's, I was so shocked when the Eagles fired him, but, they're in good hands now. And then also the Kelsey Bowl, which is pretty cool. They have a podcast too, so I'm sure they will talk about it after the Super Bowl, or maybe they won't. Damn, yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like numb right now because 49ers losing. And I definitely thought they were the team of destiny.
Yeah, I think it's also the way they lost. It's just the unfortunate turn of events with the quarterback carousel. They just got absolutely decimated at the most important position in the entire sport.
Yeah, I would love to see any other team play with their 4th string quarterback, let alone their freaking 2nd string quarterback, and make it that far. I want to bring it back to the 49ers. Even though Brock Purdy got hurt, it sucks, but he was the reason. He was partially the reason that they were there. They were a good team already, but I think he elevated them. And I'm not going to take too much away from him. It was still a great season. It was pretty magical watching what he did. Real bummer that I didn't end the way I wanted it to. But, yeah. Oh, well.
You know what, Jake? As everyone tells me every season of my life, there's always next year.
Hey, there is always next year. That is true, my boy.
Unless you die, then you're shit out of luck. I mean, if
Hey,
I made the joke that the Chargers will win their first Super Bowl the year after I die.
you're probably right.
Year one after my
gosh.
death, Dane's dead. The curse has been lifted. Let's win a Super Bowl.
Oh man.
Do you have anything else to add, Jake, about this game?
Do I have anything else to add? Shoot. I mean, not really. I mean, we're not gonna break down the game this week. We're probably gonna do it next week, just because. Why not? Like,
yeah, save some time. And then also, how about this, Jake? We'll give you guys a little sneak peek right now if you guys are still listening to this. I think after the Super Bowl, we can talk about the coaching hires because there have been.
I guess we could talk about that. I mean, why not? It's fresh in our minds right now.
Do you want to talk about it right now?
Yeah, sure. We got time. It's only been 36 minutes. Let's do it. Let's do it because it's fresh in our minds right now.
Okay,
good idea. I was thinking about that, but I didn't put it together. Good job, Dane.
What do you think is the biggest coaching hire right now? The biggest one that just happened?
It's definitely the Sean Payton hiring.
Yeah. Fucking Broncos, man.
So the crazy thing is, the Broncos were trying to get D'Amico Ryans. I think that would have been.
Harbaugh.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I haven't heard anything like that. I haven't read anything. All I've heard is one of our friends say that he has a very reliable source. Yeah, I have 8 different sports
I think
news.
Adam Schefter did post something today that Sean Payton was their third priority. With D'Amico Ryans first, and then bringing in Harbaugh for 2 interviews.
Well, either way, D'Amico Ryans was their priority, and it's funny because at the beginning he said he didn't want, or I don't know if he said, but sources said that he didn't want to coach for the Texans. So the Broncos tried to convince him. He said no. I guess he wanted to go for the Texans anyway, or either way.
I mean, he did play for the Houston Texans.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because I remember him playing for the Texans, and then I remember when he was a monster. The Texans had some cool players on their team when they were first around. What was I saying? Yeah, so that didn't work out. He went to the Texans, and then the Broncos ended up getting Sean Payton, and I mean that's definitely the biggest one because to get a guy out of retirement is huge. I mean, what could happen when the Broncos got Bruce Arians, or not the Broncos, the Bucks got Bruce Arians out of retirement? They won a freaking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think it took him 2 years to do it. And if you retire and then you come back, there's a reason you come back. It's not because you don't think you can win a Super Bowl. So, I mean, we said it all year this year. I mean, the Broncos have a nasty defense. They have players at every level. The only thing is the offense. And, when healthy, the wide receiver core could be dangerous. I don't know. Maybe Sean Payton just knows how to – he's like, oh, I already know what I'm going to do with Russell Wilson. And maybe he can fix him. I personally think he does. Sean Payton's a great coach. Russell Wilson was a great quarterback before this year. Even last year, he got hurt, but before that, he was fine. So I think he just has a comeback season.
I do too. And honestly, they didn't have to give up as much as I thought they were going to have to give up for Sean Payton. I mean, they are going to have to take on his cap, which is a decent amount of money for Sean Payton. But they only
do you have the details? Sorry.
I do not have the details in front of me. I'm sure I could look it up, but they did give up a 2023 first rounder and then a 2024 second rounder, but they do get Sean Payton and a third round pick in addition. So it's not the craziest thing. I thought they were going to have to give up 2 first round picks because that's everything. Every source that I'd been looking at was saying that Sean Payton was basically going to be a $20 million contract I think Sean Payton said that he didn't want to take anything under 15 million. So it was like between 15 and 20 million a year. He was still under contract with the New Orleans Saints, which is why teams had to trade with him or trade with them. But every source that I saw said at least minimum 2 first-round picks and then a second and possibly a third. And they only gave up a first and a second. Granted, it is a first, which kind of sucks. But shit, man, like you get Sean Payton, one of the most legendary coaches of all time, even though he doesn't have like the most Super Bowls to prove it. I mean, he had a winning record above a lot of head coaches in the NFL over the years. And his teams have typically been solid. A lot of them went to the playoffs. A majority of his teams went to the playoffs. I think out of 11, was it 11 or 12 seasons? I think like 8 of them made it to the playoffs with the New Orleans Saints.
And they got screwed like 2 years in a row
against the Rams. That was the worst call I've ever seen in my life. The most blatant PI. That is PI, and then you miss it. That is the most like, okay, is this rigged?
That was the worst. That was such a bad call that they had to change, or they implemented rules the next year, which they got rid of the year after that. But they had to put rules in for like questioning pass interference. That was goddamn. That was the worst part. Real quick, I just wanted to go over the draft pick. So kind of funny. So the Saints now have the 29th pick, and it's funny because it says via the 49ers pick by way of the Broncos and the Dolphins, because the 49ers traded their first rounder to the Dolphins. Then the Dolphins traded that first rounder to the Broncos, and then the Broncos traded that first rounder to the Saints. So you know what? You're welcome, Saints. We gave you the 29th pick. You know, and that's awesome. Like, obviously, like, you want a first-round pick. Sorry to bring it back to the 49ers, but, you know, a 29th round pick, like, it's not a 10th round. It's not like a first or a top 10 pick, you know. If they gave up that, I'd be a little bit salty.
Whoa, we're hitting rounds now?
Yeah, so the Saints get the 29th pick, but, I mean, sheesh, man. You have Andy Reid and Sean Payton in the same division. God damn. And, you know, I don't know if Josh McDaniels is a great head coach, but as far as offensive coordinator, he's a great offensive coordinator. He did great things with the Patriots. So if he can figure out how to head coach,
dude, you're gonna could you imagine this? Like, McDaniels turns into a great head coach. Chargers fire Staley, and then we bring in Harbaugh, and then it's just Payton, Harbaugh, Reid, and McDaniels in the same division.
Wishful thinking, Dane.
Wouldn't that be crazy, though?
It would, but that would not happen.
Yeah, you know, Dean Spanos will probably hire some bum off this street for $2 million.
So yeah, but I mean that's the biggest head coaching change. What were the other ones that happened? I mean, obviously we talked about DeMeco Ryans being the Texans' new head coach, signed a fat 6-year contract, which is excellent. I think that's the new normal. You know, not these 1-year and 2-year deals. Kind of, you know, give them some time to actually build
a culture.
And then it worked with the 49ers. They gave Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch a 6-year contract each, and, you know, look what they've done. Nothing but good things. Yeah, look up the other – I think there was like 2 more.
Were there 2 more head coaches or offensive coordinators? Because I know the Chargers just got a new offensive coordinator.
I know the Patriots got a new offensive coordinator.
Oh, wait. The Jets also got Nathaniel Hackett. I know that.
Oh, my – okay, we need to talk about this. What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
Okay, here's where I think the conspiracy theories are right. I think that Jets are making a move for Aaron Rodgers. I think that's actually going to happen. So they bring in his old offensive coordinator who knows him, and Aaron Rodgers would have a great offensive line, good wide receivers, good running backs, and a solid-ass defense. I think it could happen. Nathaniel Hackett was the worst head coach I've ever seen. Well, he was still better than Urban Meyer. I'll give him that. Barely. Barely. At least he knew his players' names and didn't go to college bars and like cheat on his wife and shit. But
what's wrong with that? No, I mean, I have to take into account that, head coaching is completely different than offensive coordinating or defensive coordinating. So I guess, give him another shot, but like, dude, this guy was just the worst, man.
Yeah, he was bad.
And then like the same thing with Bill O'Brien. He gets the offensive coordinator for the Patriots.
I didn't even see that. He actually got the gig coming back into the NFL as a coordinator, coming from Alabama. All right.
After he just like completely
destroyed the Texans, just completely collapsed an organization. Dude, that was such an inside job. Bill Belichick's like, do your thing, Bill. I promise I'll bring you back to the Patriots.
Bro, he like gave up 2 of his best players for like nickels and dimes. Like, what the fuck?
Dude, it was such an inside job. He's like, I hate the Texans. How can I fuck them over? Oh, yeah. Let's get rid of D-Hop.
I mean, did you look at all the hiring so far?
I don't know if I've seen all of them. So I knew Nathaniel Hackett. Bill O'Brien was news to me. I knew that they were talking with him. I just didn't know that he had already been hired. But Kellen Moore, the Cowboys offensive coordinator, is now the Chargers offensive coordinator, which...
That's right. How do you feel about that?
I like it.
Really?
I do like it. Because if you look at over his tenure in Dallas, they were the second highest scoring offense cumulatively from 2019 to 2022, or 2023 now, right behind the Kansas City Chiefs. They had the most points scored cumulatively. Number 2, they had a top 10 rushing offense for 3 or 4 years. They had a top 8 passing offense in 3 or 4 years. And that's with Dak missing time 2 of the years. That's dealing with Andy Dalton. That's dealing with Cooper Rush. And, you had Amari Cooper go down or leave. So it's like I don't think it's the most exciting offense, but he does on average pass down the field more, which is good. Like the average depth at target is, I think, almost 2 yards more than what the offense Justin Herbert was running in. They're not like they're not using motion as much as I would like, but they are effective with the scheme and the routes run, the concept, the blocking concepts. I think that it's a good move. It'll be good for Justin Herbert. I mean, Kellen Moore was also, I think he went to Boise State. He's had one of the best records in college football. So he's actually played offense. He knows schemes. Like he's not and the biggest thing is, so the Chargers he was a player. I think he played quarterback.
Did not know that.
I'm pretty sure he played for Boise State. I think he only lost 3 games in his career.
Yeah, look that up.
Yeah, look that up for me, just so I'm not blowing shit in everyone's ears.
Like we usually are.
Yeah, for real. We just see something on the internet and then we think we know everything. But going back, so one thing.
Okay, all right, real quick. 50-3 at Boise State.
I was right, baby.
How do I not remember this guy?
All right. At least I wasn't.
This must have been when. Okay, this must have been when Boise was like the hotness. Yeah. I remember that. Okay.
So I wasn't lying. All right, that feels good. But I think the biggest reason why I like this is because the Chargers in second half scoring, I think were 28th or lower. It was like 28th or in the 30s. So like they were near the very bottom of points scored in the second half. Number 1 was Dallas. So Dallas actually had top tier second half offense, which I like, which means he knows how to make adjustments. He can make adjustments in game, during halftime, which is something that the Chargers needed because Joe Lombardi, unfortunately, was not doing that with the Chargers. He just did not know how to make adjustments at halftime. He ran the same plays. So I think that it'll be good. I think it'll be beneficial. So we'll see. Yeah, I like the hire for the most part. Definitely think that there is some blame on him, but, no coach is perfect. So I think it'll be good.
Right on. Well, he will definitely have fun toys to play around with. So another head coaching hiring that kind of went under the radar. Frank Reich to the
Carolina Panthers. Yeah.
Yep. So
I think that's big. I like Frank Reich. I think he got screwed over in Indianapolis, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good defense that he's inheriting.
He's got a good running attack.
Yeah, and he's got, maybe he can unlock DJ Moore a little bit, help him out a little bit, and he's got a top 5 draft pick. Is that what it is?
I don't think it's a top 5.
I need to look this up.
Yeah, I don't think the Panthers are top 5 because they had 7 wins, 6 wins. I think they have a top 10, but I don't think that it's top 5 because I know the Bears have the 1.
Colts have 2.
Colts have 2. Arizona has 3. And then I think the Seahawks have 4 because of the Denver Broncos.
Yes. 6 is Lions. 7.
Who's 5?
8. 5 is Seahawks.
Wait, who's 4 then?
The Colts.
Okay, so who was second? Bears
Texans.
And then Texans. I thought you said Colts. My bad.
Then we have this Lions at 6, Raiders at 7, Falcons at 8. Okay, they have the 9th pick. 9th pick. Interesting.
You might be able to get a Will Levis at that point because I think Bryce Young or CJ Stroud is going first quarterback. Will Levis could possibly be second quarterback, maybe even first. I mean, we can get into draft talk at a later episode. I mean, definitely want to pay attention to the Senior Bowl, kind of see how some of these players pan out.
That's this weekend, I think.
Yeah, first day was today, I think.
Yeah, you see Isaiah Foskey, boy.
Dude, he destroyed so many people. Dude, I would love the Chargers to draft him. But I think, unfortunately, with the hiring of Kellen, not unfortunately, because we need offensive help, but I think with the hiring of Kellen Moore, he's going to want a receiver in the first round. So we might go speed. Like, we might go Jordan Addison. If Quentin Johnson fell to us, that'd be cool having him and Mike, both 6'4" receivers, except Quentin Johnson is just faster and a better route runner, in my opinion. I would love the Chargers to go Zay Flowers of Boston College. He is a shifty, speedy wide receiver who just is a yak monster. I would also love Michael Mayer. If I'm being honest, Michael Mayer would be sweet on the Chargers because a lot of double tight formations and heavy formations with Dallas's offense with Kellen Moore.
Right on. So that means there's only 2 teams left without a head coach. That's the Arizona Cardinals and the Indianapolis Colts. I guess they've have some interviews. Like, it's kind of cool. They have all the interviews that they've conducted, and they have interviews that they're scheduled for. So they got Lou Anarumo, Bengals defensive coordinator, Brian Callahan, Bengals offensive coordinator, and then just a couple other people. Vance Joseph, he was already there. He's the defensive coordinator for the Cardinals. So
Vance Joseph didn't have the best tenure as a head coach. He's a good defensive coordinator. I like that. But as you see with a lot of coordinators, they're good at being a coordinator, but they're not good at being a head coach.
Yeah. So, and then for the Colts, I don't know, man. Do you have any ideas who you think they'll hire for these teams?
To be honest, man, I don't really have that good of an idea. Because I really thought Sean Payton wasn't going to go to a team. I thought he was going to stay as an analyst one more year and wait till next year. But that kind of threw things off. Frank Reich got hired pretty much right off the bat. And then D'Amico Ryan's going to the Houston Texans. Those were like the 3 big names, I think, for the head coaching positions. This is like a wait and see.
One of the big names that didn't end up leaving was Dan Quinn staying with the Cowboys. That's a pretty surprising.
And I'm surprised that he stayed with the Cowboys because I'm sure that he kind of had some insight with Kellen Moore, like possibly talking about leaving because they said it was a mutual agreement where it wasn't a firing. It was more like he was seeking employment elsewhere. But I don't know, man. I don't know what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah, none of us do. But
I think Dallas is going to struggle, though. I really do, especially with McCarthy calling plays. Give me a break.
We say this about the Cowboys every year, and they always end up like the second or third fucking seed, and then they get eliminated the first round or the second round. So I'm just gonna say they're gonna disappoint in playoffs like every year. But my thing is, if Jim Harbaugh wanted to come back to the NFL, why not go to the Colts? I mean,
that's what I was saying.
That's where he played the most as a player. I think he played for the Chargers, the Colts, and the Ravens, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he was the quarterback right before Peyton Manning, if I'm not mistaken. But I might be wrong on that one, as I usually am. But I mean, if he wanted to come back to the NFL, I could see the Colts being a destination. Decent defense, run game, your pick at a quarterback.
I think, unfortunately, the Cardinals are going to have the hardest time finding a head coach or one that's noteworthy. Other than Vance Joseph, I think Vance Joseph is probably the most likely candidate at this point, because whoever wants to take this head coaching position, you're dealing with an injured Kyler Murray who's probably going to miss time into the regular season. D-Hop's on the trading block.
Mm-hmm.
You lose J.J. Watt. You're not in like a complete rebuild, but you're definitely in a rebuild. Like you have to figure out a situation here, because you're losing one of the premium wide receivers in the league. You lose a serviceable, above average end in J.J. Watt, who was still a beast. He wasn't as productive as he was in his younger days, obviously, but you're losing him. You already lost Chandler Jones, who was a staple to that defense. It's tough, man. Like your offense got worse, your defense got worse. It's a tough predicament for Arizona, unfortunately. So I don't know exactly who would coach there other than Vance Joseph at this point, especially because Sean Payton, who the Cardinals were going after, was like, F this. I want to coach the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. Broncos definitely are more of a complete team. Like I said, they have that solid defense. They have weapons on offense. They have a quarterback that is in need of how do I say this? Maybe like a quarterback guru. I don't know. Maybe Sean Payne can help him out a little bit. If I had to put it, I mean, if I was the Cardinals, I'd probably just do it in-house hire too. Try to build off of what they have. He kind of knows the organization. I think that's the best thing for the Cardinals, is just hiring Vance Joseph. So we'll see. Maybe we'll see. But those are just a couple of the head coaching hirings around the NFL. Man, you ready for the Super Bowl? You ready for this Pro Bowl? Actually, that's what's next. You want to break down the Pro Bowl, Dane?
Fuck with me. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for me. You got anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I just wish the 49ers were in the Super Bowl. But I will say this. I am way happier that this happened in the NFC Championship than in the fucking
Super Bowl. Yeah, if you lost 31-7 in the Super Bowl. Oh. God.
And it sucks because Eagles fans are kind of annoying. And
kind of,
they just they are annoying, and they think
toxic.
They think they actually destroyed the 49ers. I don't think they understand what happened. I think they're just too drunk to understand what actually happened during the game.
Drunk with power.
Yeah, so I don't even know. I mean, I know who you're probably rooting for. I guess I'm rooting for the Eagles, but are you rooting for the Eagles?
No, Jake, let me root for a division rival that I fucking hate. Yes, I'm rooting for the Eagles.
Yeah.
God damn it. I don't want to see
Jalen Hurts, though. I like Jalen Hurts.
I like Jalen Hurts, too. Patrick Mahomes got his ring. He got one. He can leave now. I don't care. I've had to watch this team win the division however many years in a row now. I'm over it. 5
Isn't it 11?
Some shitty number like that, yeah. And the team before that was the Broncos. So it's all right. The Chargers last time winning the division, I think, was 2000. 10 or 8,
Yeah.
maybe 9. I don't remember. It's just been a rough decade of football for Chargers fans. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, next week we will definitely break out in the game though, so sorry we didn't do it this week. Just stay tuned.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you for tuning in to the Cannonballs podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Turn notifications on. Follow us on our Instagram, Cannonballs with a Z_podcast. Jake, break us down.
Watch the Pro Bowl. Or don't. I won't be. I'm going to be actually living life because football's pretty much over, so I don't have to watch football games all weekend. But you know what? Thank you for listening, and as always, peace.